The Waking Crew Band, everybody. That's called Counterfeit Beer. 9 minutes before 8 o'clock here at WSM, the Waking Crew. We're going to take a break and be right back.
Listen while I tell you there's a great day coming. There's a great day coming. There's a great day coming, the 2nd of May.
There'll be classes for all ages. Come and bring a friend with you. You'll be glad you worship God on this great day.
This is Iowa North, and there is a great day coming, May 2nd at the Madison Church of Christ. Our Sunday school attendance goal is 8,002. Several nationally known speakers will be with us on that day. There will be a giant tent that seats 2,800 people, a basket dinner to feed the 8,002 in 20 minutes, and much, much more. This is your personal invitation to be with us at the Madison Church of Christ for this great day.
Great day coming, the 2nd of May. There'll be classes for all ages. Come and bring a friend with you. You'll be glad you worship God on this great day.
Madison Church of Christ at the corner of Gallatin Road and Old Hickory Boulevard.
We're giving you our best. Yes, we're American and we're giving our best. No matter where we fly, we're out to lead the rest. Yes, we're American and we're giving our best.
American Airlines offers you money-saving airfares to every city we serve. But that's not all. Our people are dedicated to making every trip you take with us your best ever, no matter what price you pay. Today, some airlines are asking you to give up service to get a low airfare, but not American Airlines. We give you low fares and the highest standards of service on the ground and in the air. Because if we gave you anything less, we wouldn't be giving you our best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
American offers you the only non-stop service to New York 3 times every weekday to convenient, close-in LaGuardia Airport. Call American Airlines or your travel agent.
The Waking Crew live from the Stage Door Lounge at the Opryland Hotel. How are you doing there, Rex?
Just wonderful. Just wonderful.
You guys are going to be gentle on me today, aren't you?
I wouldn't say that. I might even tell the folks where I saw you last.
You wouldn't dare.
I might. Seems to me it was a big city of Charlotte on the stage at an all-male beauty contest. Is that what we call it?
That's right. We need to point out that I was not participating in the...
That's right. You had on men's clothing, but those other ones... it's hard to describe, right?
It certainly is. What's the latest Bigfoot report? Because Donegan told me I ought to ask you about that.
The last Bigfoot report I had was from about a 6-year-old boy who said he heard it.
Okay.
And I know that 6-year-old boy. He hears a lot of things.
Okay. This is like pulling teeth here on my first day. I'm not the only sub, by the way. Subbing for Bev, we got Rex Peer. Norm's not here. Cole Burgess is here. And for Joe Lane, Bill Chelf. Did I pronounce that right? How you doing, Terry?
Hey, doing fine, Skip. How are you this morning? Hey, I hate to tell you this, but a bird landed in your hair. You got something on your ears.
No, those are my radio headphones.
Oh, radio headphones. That's neat. Boy, we got a lot of nice people here this morning.
We certainly do.
Every seat is filled to capacity. This is great.
What, Rex?
He said every seat was filled to capacity. I asked him if he said if he meant everyone was fat. That was hard to say, wasn't it?
It certainly was. I got a lot of advice on how to fill in as the host of the Waking Crew here. I was a little nervous. First thing that happened to me was about Tuesday morning. Harold Hensley walks in while I'm on the air. We do the midday show at WSM from 9 to 1. Harold Hensley walks in. My partner, PRD, was not there, so I was doing it all by myself and having a hard enough time as it was. He walked in. I had to say something on the air, so he stood there for a few seconds. And then I finally finished and had a short break, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I finally said, well, what do you need, Harold? He said, do you own a coat and tie? I said, well, I didn't know what he was getting at. I thought he was going to start making us all wear coats and ties to work, and I was prepared to tell him that I didn't have enough money to go buy anything. And I said, well, I've got 1 or 2 that fit. The rest of them are all paisley and wouldn't fit in nowadays. And I said, what is this for? He says, well, you're going to need a coat and tie on Friday. I said, why? Are we going to a funeral? He said, yes, you're going to host the Waking Crew.
Just stroll on over to old Dutch there, and he'll tell you one of his surefire jokes.
Okay, all right. A surefire joke from Dutch. How you doing, Dutch?
Skip, it's real good to have you, and it must warm your heart to see all these people out here that found out you were going to be hosting the show. These are all your friends out here.
I'd like to thank everybody from the Union Rescue Mission, all my friends down there for coming down.
Skip, I didn't realize you were so cold-natured. I mean, you come in here with earmuffs on. I mean, it's not that cold in here, really.
Well, you know how it is, Dutch. Most TV personalities, they have ego problems. They have pictures of themselves, you know, lining the walls of their home and whatever, and they have mirrors and stuff like that. Radio people, visual stuff doesn't do anything for them. So I walk around with headphones to hear my own voice.
Makes you look impressive. Would you like to hear a surefire joke?
I don't know. I've heard a lot of surefire jokes on the way to work here.
This is the first grade and first day in the kindergarten, and the teacher was telling them what they were to do and everything. Says, now, if any of you all have to go to the restroom anytime, raise your hand.
Now, hold on.
No,
This is my first day.
No. Just raise your hand, and said the restroom is right down the hall on the left-hand side. So a little bit, little John raised his hand. Teacher says, John, you have to go to the restroom. He said, yes, I do, teacher. And says, now don't forget, it's down the hall on the left there. So John was gone. He didn't come back. In a little bit, he came back crying. And the teacher says, John, says, weren't you able to find it? And he says, no, teacher, I wasn't. It says, Bill, you take John down there to the restroom. Said, you take him down. So little Bill goes hand in hand with John, and they're gone for a long while, too. And a little bit, they come back, and
this guy must be in pain by now.
No. John's smiling, you know, and they're both smiling. And teacher said, did you find it? And Bill says, yeah, we had a real hard time because he had his pants on backwards.
Rim shot. There you go, Ron. Tom Grant and Darlene Austin are here. I got a lot of advice. Huh?
See what I mean when I say they're surefire?
Surefire. They'll be lighting a fire under me when I get back to the station later on. Talking about the Waking Crew and hosting the thing. My mom was real proud of me. Unfortunately, my parents are out of town. Maybe that is fortunately. I told them there was no way we could make a tape of the show to play back for them later. Got a lot of advice on how to fill in as host, or fit in as host of the Waking Crew. I saw Darlene Austin and Tom Grant earlier in the week. Darlene offered this bit of advice. You'll be fine, just be yourself. We'll help you any way we can. Tom Grant said, hey, that's great, just be yourself and everything will be just fine. Need any help, just ask. From our general manager, Tom Cassidy, don't be yourself. You know how many calls we got the last time you acted like yourself. From Mike Donegan, clear your throat a lot on the air and act like you don't understand my punchlines. And George Plaster said, abuse me verbally any way you can if you really want to fit in here. Tease me about the Atlanta Braves. Over to Mike Donegan. How are you?
Fine, Skip.
Good.
Skip, you know, it's a tradition here on the Waking Crew that every time we have a new host,
yes,
that person, be it male or female, Caucasian or Republican, it is a tradition that the new host go through the traditional swearing in. I will now don the robe. Now don the robe and wig.
That looks like an old tablecloth.
I will now don the robe and wig
Oh, no.
traditionally used by the chief newscaster of the Waking Crew. Skip, if you will place your hand
yes,
on this cup of coffee.
Yes.
And repeat after me.
Mm-hmm.
I, your name, do hereby solemnly swear that during the next hour and 45 minutes
I will not swear.
Nor will I.
Nor will I.
Your name.
Your name.
Take the name.
Take the name.
Of anyone.
Of anyone.
In vain.
In vain.
Except Teddy Bart.
Except Teddy Bart.
I will shy away.
I will shy away.
From Joe Lane's jokes.
From Joe Lane's jokes.
I will not touch.
I will not touch.
Dutch Gordon's hair.
Dutch Gordon's hair.
And will pretend.
And will pretend.
To believe Rex North.
To believe Rex North.
Even though I know he's nuts.
Even though I know he's nuts.
And should I go into the audience?
And should I go into the audience?
I will have an ample supply.
I will have an ample supply.
Of T-shirts and hats.
Of T-shirts and hats.
And after the show.
And after the show.
I will partake.
I will partake.
Of the cup.
Of the cup.
From Jack's trunk.
Of Jack's trunk.
So help me in LT.
So help me in LT.
You may now sip from the coffee.
Thank you very much. What? No sugar? Let's take a break. We'll be back.
A judge can't decide a case without evidence. And with so many candidates for you to judge on May 4th, you may still be undecided. Consider this evidence. The highest recommendation from the Nashville Bar Association for Criminal Court Judge of Division 1 went to Bill Bruce.
I've got to say I appreciate that sort of recognition from a group that respects the office as much as I do. I like to maintain that confidence in me, in the office, and in the law.
Consider the evidence. Judge for yourself. On May 4th, vote Bill Bruce, Criminal Court Judge Division 1. Paid for by Bill Bruce for Judge, Kitty Wells, Johnny Wright, co-treasurers.
Welcome aboard Flight 65 with Richard Thomas. This traffic report brought to you by Chainsaw World. What do you think of it so far, Richard?
Well, Skip, I tell you what, you're doing a pretty good job over there this morning. Right now, though, if you're going to be driving into downtown Nashville, you're going to find traffic a little bit slow on I-40 eastbound around the Charlotte Avenue exit ramp. We have an accident there. Metro Police are en route, but have not yet arrived on the scene. That's I-40 eastbound downtown at the Charlotte Avenue exit ramp. 65 from the north, a few cars right around the Trinity Lane area. Inbound 2440 traffic still a little bit slow from the junction through Fessler's Lane. Still a little bit up around the construction site. 65 south northbound at the I-40 junction. And downtown, we still have a few cars on our bridges and viaducts, but they're handling the traffic quite nicely. Richard Thomas, WSM, Flight 65, and this report brought to us by Chainsaw World.
You've just mowed your lawn, and it looks great, except for the trimming and edging that needs to be done. Make those finishing touches a fast job with a Weed Eater trimmer. With Weed Eater trimmers, you get the quality construction and innovative features that have made them the world's leading brand of trimmer. And you can choose from several models of trimmers at Chainsaw World, on the corner of 4th Avenue South and Lafayette. There are 12 different models: trimmers for light trimming, trimmer edgers, heavy-duty trimmer edgers, and professional trimmer edgers. And all models have the innovative, specially treated nylon cutting line that trims faster and safer than metal blade trimmers. Chainsaw World also carries other tools and power units that are part of the extensive Weed Eater line, such as the bladed edger, power hoe, gasoline and electric trimmers, power blowers, and accessories. When you need lawn care equipment, get to Chainsaw World on the corner of 4th Avenue South and Lafayette. And remember, if it doesn't say Weed Eater, it's just another trimmer.
This is WSM Nashville, and from the Stage Door Lounge at the Opryland Hotel, the Waking Crew, I'm Skip Woolwine here. Mike Donegan, what do we have in headlines this morning?
Skip, hope of a peaceful settlement between Britain and Argentina has all but vanished. As threatened, Britain today imposed a total air and sea blockade around the Falkland Islands. That happened this morning at 6 o'clock Nashville time. In response to that threat, Argentina imposed a similar blockade. Tennessee's unemployment rate, the 7th worst in the nation in February, dropped for the first time in 5 months last month. Partly cloudy with a 20% chance of light rain today, partly cloudy tonight and tomorrow. High today near 70, low tonight near 50, high tomorrow in the low 70s. 54 now.
It's 6 minutes after 8 o'clock here at WSM and the Waking Crew. Good morning, Darlene. How are you?
Good morning, Skip. It's good to have you with us.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your moral support earlier in the week and the kind advice you had for me.
It will be an experience. By the time the morning is over, you will.
I can't wait for 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got a song that Christy Lane did, right?
Yeah, I like this. I think this is one of her best releases she's had. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
got love in your eyes, but after love you got leaving on your mind. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're knocking at my door. Say you want to talk to me, but I've heard that line before. You know I'm weak and I always let you in, so you take all you want from me and then you're gone again. You got lies on your lips, you got love in your eyes, but I won't fall for your sweet talk this time. You got lies on your lips, you got love in your eyes, but after love you got leaving on your mind. You break my heart every time you come around. With your late night promises, you always let me down. I don't know where you get off thinking I'm a fool. We've been through this so many times, but mister, I'm through with you. You got lies on your lips, you got love in your eyes, but I won't fall for your sweet talk this time. You got lies on your lips, you got love in your eyes, but after love you got leaving on your mind. You got lies on your lips, you got love in your eyes, but I won't fall for your sweet talk this time.
Big hand for Darlene Austin, everybody. Darlene, thank you very much. 8.5 minutes after 8, WSM. And the sports being brought to you by the Bank of Goodlettsville. Since 1889, everything you'd expect in a bank.
But do you give everybody a tour like that, Mr. Claude?
Well, if he's a new depositor.
I see.
I feel like if you've taken a little interest in him and shown him what you can do and what you have, he's more likely to be pleased with where he came to and just be satisfied with where he has his bank account.
Well, that's important, is it?
I think so.
Hey, Dan, did you know Mr. Claude's the oldest active banker in the state of Tennessee?
No kidding. When did you start with the bank, Mr. Claude?
When did I start the bank? 1914.
1914?
The students starting the 67th year.
Hey, what was banking like back then, Mr. Claude?
Well, when we first started, we were just a farming community. But back in that day, if somebody come in to borrow some money, about the main security he had was his team of mules. No tractor, nothing like that, you know.
None of those computers like you showed us, huh, Mr. Claude?
No, of course, your bank was small back in that day. And of course, you did all your work then, just your pen and ink, no adding machine.
No adding machine?
I'll never forget when the first adding machine we ever bought. Captain Bass was president of the bank. He said, be sure and count after that thing.
He didn't trust it, huh? You know, Dan, there's a lot of history at the Bank of Goodlettsville.
And a mighty good future, too, Jack. Member FDIC.
Waking Crew and George Plaster with sports. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Skip. How are you?
Just fine. How about those Braves?
I'll bet it. 2 in a row after 5 straight losses. We'll talk about that in a moment. They were a winner last night against the Cubs. In a little local baseball news, Wayne Garland, former Major League pitching star, and you go back to 1976, he was a 20-game winner with the Baltimore Orioles, signed a big contract, one of the first really big free agents in baseball, signed a 10-year, $2.3 million contract with the Cleveland Indians in 1977. And then the story goes kind of downhill from there. He had arm problems for about the next 3 or 4 seasons, had a rotator cuff injury, which is almost the kiss of death to a baseball pitcher, was released by the Cleveland Indians over the winter, and now will be signed within the next couple of days to a contract with the Nashville Sounds. He will be pitching here at Greer Stadium. He will work out today with the club, or actually before their scheduled game against Jacksonville, and then it's just a mere formality. He will sign a minor league contract with the Yankees and the Nashville Sounds. It'll be interesting to see how well he does. He says from now on he will go basically with one big pitch, and that will be a knuckleball, and he will try to learn that from one of the real masters, Sounds pitching coach Hoyt Wilhelm, who for many years was a knuckleballing star in the major leagues. The Sounds were rained out last night in their game against Orlando. That closed out their series with the Twins. They go for win number 4 in a row tonight against Jacksonville, game time 7:30. Over at Herschel Greer Stadium. Major League Baseball last night in the American League, Cleveland beat Seattle 5-1. California shut out the Yankees 2-0. Jeff Zahn on a 7-hitter. Oakland over Baltimore 9-6. The White Sox over Detroit 3-2. And Toronto shut out Kansas City 7-0. Dave Stieb, the winning pitcher for the Blue Jays. National League, San Diego Padres a couple of nights ago had their 11-game winning streak snapped. Most people probably thought it would go downhill from there, but yesterday the Padres got a new streak going. They shut out the New York Mets 6-0. Tim Lawler, the winning pitcher, he also had a home run in the game. Pittsburgh beat Houston 9-6. As we mentioned, the Braves were a winner last night, 3-0 over the Cubs. Good pitchers duel between Joe Cali, rookie right-hander of Atlanta, Ferguson Jenkins, the veteran pitcher for the Cubs. Jenkins gave up back-to-back homers in the bottom of the 8th inning to Dale Murphy and Bob Horner. That was the margin of victory for Atlanta. They win it 3-0. L.A. shut out Philadelphia 4-0 behind right-hander Bert Hooton, and San Francisco beat Montreal 7-3 out on the West Coast. Tomorrow we have the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
You ever been to a Kentucky Derby?
No, I've been to a Kentucky Derby party before.
That's probably the same as the Kentucky Derby. Actually, they have the 108th running of the Kentucky Derby tomorrow up at Churchill Downs in Louisville. If anybody in this room or anybody listening has a horse that's 3 years old that they think can do well, give me a call, because the winner gets $400,000 plus.
Well, I can find a use for that. Thank you, George. Sports have been brought to you by the Bank of Goodlettsville since 1889. Everything you'd expect in a bank. Let's send it back upstairs again to Richard Thomas and Flight 65, a look at Nashville traffic, brought to you by Shoney's. Nothing like yesterday afternoon, was it, Richard?
No, it certainly isn't, but we've got one problem over here that's popped up this morning, the only wreck we've had, and it's located on Interstate 40. It's eastbound near the Charlotte Avenue exit ramp right in the downtown area. And it does involve very slight personal injuries. It is backing up traffic back around towards 28th Avenue for you folks coming into downtown on Interstate 40, so you might want to avoid that area if you're running a little bit behind schedule. The fire department has been called up here. We have some gasoline leaking out on the interstate, so you folks be very careful through this area. That's I-40 eastbound near the Charlotte Avenue exit ramp, and it will take at least 2 wreckers to tow these cars out of the way. 65 from Brentwood, still a little build up at the I-40 junction point. 2440 inbound looks pretty good. 65 from Rivergate in pretty good shape. And downtown, our bridges and viaducts all looking real good. Drive carefully today. See you this afternoon. Richard Thomas, WSM, Flight 65, and this report brought to us by Shoney.
Waking Crew, live from the Stage Door Lounge on WSM. Good morning, Mr. Grant.
Hello there, Skip.
How are you today?
Well, you're doing good. You got your coat and tie and everything. You're looking good.
That's right. An old coat and tie again, huh?
And so far, you do seem to be being yourself, which is, you know, you're doing a great job.
We'll wait for something to happen then, huh?
Okay.
Okay. How about a song?
All right.
An old George Jones tune.
With time, my face is wrinkled, but my blue eyes still sparkle with the love I felt for you since the day we met. To me, you're just as lovely as the first time I saw you. Times have changed, but our hearts haven't yet. I'm still the same old me, loving the same sweet you. Time hasn't withered our hearts, and when our days are through, I'll still be loving you. Even death can't keep us apart. These hands that once were steady have now begun to tremble, but when they touch you, that same old feeling's there. But your smile is still as special as it was the day we married. Years haven't changed the love we shared. I'm still the same old me, loving the same sweet you. Time hasn't withered our hearts, and when our days are through, I'll still be loving you. Even death can't keep us apart. I'm still the same old me, loving the same sweet
Big hand for Tom Grant, everybody.
Thank you.
18 after 8 o'clock, WSM, the Waking Crew, will be right. Waking Crew. Skip Woolwine subbing for Ralph Emery today. Ron Keller is here. How you doing?
You know, I'm trying to figure out if you were nervous or what. This guy shows up at 10 after 7 this morning.
Is that unusual?
Unusual. Ralph made it for the theme yesterday. which of course is at 7:45. When you did walk in, I said, whatever are you doing here? You don't get up at this hour.
Well, I got up early because I knew it would take me some time to find my coat and tie. But I found it in plenty of time, so I came on down here to see if I could get about 12 cups of coffee in me before I
Well, and you've
got
done
going.
that, but then I noticed also he's made all these preparations. He has all these notes on each of the
certainly.
turkeys in this band.
Right.
Has that helped?
Not a whole lot.
I didn't think it would. See, you started with Rex.
That's right. Well, Plaster told me I needed to start with Rex and let him talk about Bigfoot and then go to HB so he can cut down Rex. Well, anyway.
Well, then I commented that we have 2 preppies at this round table. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Yeah.
Well, Skip is also a Vanderbilt graduate.
Well, now, yes.
Well, now it's okay to say that. I mean, everyone knows that George is.
I thought I'd have to start ducking donuts here.
Ducking donuts.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave that line right where it stayed.
Was it, Harry, you're from. Well, good.
HB is also yes, Peabody School of Music.
He's a closet preppy, I guess.
And actually, we're even going to play some more music to help things along.
I think it'll be a wise thing to do. How about the Waking Crew Band with Mountain Dew? Big hand for the... Oh, caught me off guard, too. The Waking Crew Band, everybody. Mountain Dew. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
It's gold. Prospector.
You can try gold. Let's go prospecting.
The great Dodge Prospector gold rush is on.
The great Dodge Prospector gold rush is on. And Dodge dealers all over the state want you to stake your claim on a pound of gold.
Solid gold.
They're celebrating the new Ram Tough Prospector pickups, vans, wagons, and Ram Chargers. Equipped the way truck buyers like them at savings of $200 to $1,000, depending on package.
And you could win a pound of gold.
There's nothing you have to buy to win, but hurry. Gold Rush ends May 31st, so stop in or contact your Dodge dealer for an entry blank, and you'll be in the running for a treasure chest of prizes, including the big ones, 12 troy ounces of solid gold. See your Dodge truck dealer now for full details. Void where prohibited.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Stake your claim at Music City Dodge. They're sending a lucky winner prospecting for a pound.
Bring a friend with you. You'll be glad you worship God on this great day.
Madison Church of Christ at the corner of Gallatin Road and Old Hickory Boulevard.
The Waking Crew live from the Stage Door Lounge at Opryland Hotel. Notice my watch here, George? 8:26 and 44 seconds or so.
Mine says 7:28.
I think yours is
11.
Oh, well, I just wanted to point out I brought my watch today, so I wouldn't have to keep asking you what time it was.
Yeah, that's nice.
Uh-huh. Where's your coat and tie today?
No coat. Well, the tie is in the car. The coat is still home.
Uh-huh. You saw the memo, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and we'll be conforming to that very soon.
Yeah. Earlier in the show, we told about how Harold Hensley clued me in on having to wear a coat and tie here. I thought it was some mistake that I was going to be working the Waking Crew on Friday morning, a little later on after my show, or our show, me and PRD. I do middays on WSM. I was walking down the hall of the station and ran into Mr. Cassidy. You're aware of Mr. Cassidy?
I know him, yes.
Yes. I asked him if he was aware of this thing. I thought there had been some mistake that I was doing the Waking Crew on Friday. And he said, no, yeah, you're doing it. You do have a coat and tie, don't you?
I understand where that comes from, owning only one myself.
And Tuesday, it was Jeannie Carter's birthday. You know Jeannie, don't you?
Yes.
She's Tom Griscom's right-hand person. And I guess keeps him pretty straight and gets him to where he needs to be on time. Tom Griscom, of course, is WSM's vice president in charge of broadcasting. It was her birthday, so we had a little get-together after work Tuesday. And down the other end of the table from me was Mr. Griscom, and right sitting next to him was Mr. Cassidy. And Mr. Cassidy, I said to Mr. Cassidy, does Mr. Griscom know that I'm doing the Waking Crew Friday? There's still got to be some mistake. Well, Cassidy nudges Griscom and says, hey, Woolwine wants to know if you know about him doing the crew on Friday. And what does Griscom say? Yeah, if he's got a coat and tie. Well, anyway, Darlene? Where is Darlene? Yes. Oh, hello. How you doing, Jim?
Fine, Skip. You know, this is the first year that we haven't had a derby pool.
Oh.
You know, where everybody puts in a few matches, you know. They usually let...
Matches.
Well, the last time we did that, we let Norman hold the money. Well, that's the last we ever saw the money. Dutch and I used to go over to play for that derby every year. The night before on Friday, we go to Billy Reynolds' home, and he's a man who owns aluminum company, you know.
Right.
And, great party, great party. The time the party was over, why, we all got to feel like we was rich as Billy. You know, that's a real spectacular affair, that derby. Only thing like it in the world. You know, when they play that old Kentucky home before the race,
That's right.
it brings tears to most people's eyes. But the only tears they brought to my eyes is when my horse lost.
Okay, Jim. Darlene, how about another song?
This is one of my favorites. I like this song.
It's a good song.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the
Darlene Austin and the Rose. Thank you, Darlene. The Waking Crew from the Stage Door Lounge. It's 8:33 right now. Hi, what's your name?
Gloria.
What?
Gloria.
Gloria? What's your last name, dear?
Oh, who cares?
Who cares? What are you putting on me?
I'm putting a duck on you.
A duck?
Mm-hmm.
Does that signify something?
Mm-hmm.
What does that signify?
Republic Airlines.
Uh-huh. And why are you here? Where are you from, first of all?
Well, originally, you mean? Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing down here?
My husband was transferred to Memphis for
Mhm.
Republic Airlines, so I had to come along.
What brings you to the Opryland Hotel today?
We're having airline convention.
Credit union.
Credit union convention.
Oh, great. How'd you like... Have you ever been on the radio before?
No, I haven't.
How'd you like to be our guest announcer?
Do I have to wear my glasses?
Well, you don't have to read it now. I'll tell you what. What we're going to do is be reading the tag on this Electra Asylum commercial. Let's take that spot and come right back.
Come home to country with your favorite Electra Asylum artists like Conway Twitty and his new album, Southern Comfort.
You want a man with the soul hand. You want a lover with an easy touch.
And there's more. Mel Tillis and his new album, It's a Long Way to Daytona. How about Eddie Rabbitt's new album, Step by Step?
Someone could lose a heart tonight. Someone could lose a heart.
Also in the country, you'll find Hank Williams Jr., Johnny Lee, the Bellamy Brothers, Kieran Kane, Joe Sun, the Urban Cowboy soundtrack, Tom Paul and the Glazer Brothers, and Eddie Raven. Take home some country from Electra Asylum Full Moon Records.
There you go.
Album or tape available at all TG and Y stores.
Thank you very much, Gloria. Let's give her a big hand. And Miss Lou. Miss Lou, if you will bring a T-shirt over to Gloria, we certainly would appreciate it. 8:35, let's go to Mike Donegan and the news. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Skip. Push has yet to come to shove in the Falkland Islands crisis, but Britain's full sea and air blockade is now in place. Argentina sources hint there may be an airlift attempt, but they offer no indication when that might take place. On South Georgia Island, recaptured from Argentina by British Marines earlier this month, an Argentine soldier who died following capture was buried today with full military honors. Circumstances of the man's death have not yet been disclosed. At least 11 people died today as fire swept through a 5-story residential hotel in Hoboken, New Jersey. This within view of the Statue of Liberty. Fire officials suspect arson. The Presidential Housing Commission has released a report of recommendations on ending the housing recession. Karen Gray has that story.
After nearly a year of study, the Presidential Commission on Housing has released its final report of recommendations aimed at ending the 3-year-old housing recession. The report calls for sweeping fundamental reforms. In order to make housing more available and less costly to the largest number of Americans possible, the panel is recommending the following: broadening the powers of thrift institutions, which have traditionally specialized in mortgage finance. The Commission says federal regulations on zoning and building codes and so forth have added as much as 25% to the cost of housing, and so is asking for the elimination of unnecessary restrictions. Perhaps the most controversial of its proposals is the Housing Payments Program, which would give low-income people direct payments for housing instead of relying on the government to build subsidized homes.
T-shirts for that, I'm sure. We even have our own WSM contingent. Ladies from the office, they all said, "Ha, Woolwine's going to host the crew. We'll be there."
And there they are.
Thank you, ladies. Well, how about a song, huh?
Okay, this is a Mel Tillis tune.
Good.
There's a plane out tonight, and I swear to you I'm gonna take that flight. Please don't come to see me cry. You've seen it in a million old goodbyes. There was me, there was you. There never was in us to hook on to. There were times we touched the sky, long before a million old goodbyes. Breaking up sometimes is more loving than the staying up. Crying nights and planning how to patch it up, knowing it was something needn't giving up. It was good, it was fun. We played out this ending many times. We can't say never tried, way beyond a million old goodbyes. Breaking up sometimes is more loving than the staying up. Crying nights and planning how to patch it up, knowing it was something needn't giving up. There's a plane out tonight, and I swear to you I'm gonna take that flight. We can't say we never tried, way beyond a million old goodbyes, way beyond a million old
Tom Grant, everybody. million old goodbyes. 8:43 at WSM. Let's take a break.
You're gonna like us, TWA. You're gonna like us.
From one end of the country to the other, TWA's new low fares make ends meet. St. Louis, now only $75 one way. San Francisco, just $165 one way, no restrictions. And TWA Getaway Vacations offer a car and hotel for as little as $69 per person, double occupancy, and motor coach tours of California.
You're gonna like us.
And TWA has Airport Express. With round-trip check-in, you can get all your boarding passes before you leave, so you won't have to wait in line on your way home. And advanced seat selection lets you request the kind of seats you want when you make your reservation. TWA's new low fares and great values on getaway vacations. It's a great way to make ends meet. Call your travel agent or TWA.
You're gonna like us. You'll like TWA.
Fujifilm is available at Camera World in Clarksville. It's 8:45. George Plaster's back with sports. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Skip. We talked about the Kentucky Derby just a little bit in the first segment. For those of you that are wondering, El Baba and Air Forbes 1 are considered the two most likely favorites to possibly win the Derby, and Cup Coy's Joy won the rail position yesterday for that race. Gets underway about 4:35 Nashville time tomorrow. In the NBA playoffs tonight, they resume in some very interesting action. Phoenix and Los Angeles will play out in Phoenix. The Suns trailing that best of 4 out of 7 series 2-0. Boston and Washington tonight in Landover, Maryland. That series is tied 1 game apiece. The Celtics go in there as a huge favorite, but the Bullets shocked the Celtics a couple of nights ago on a 3-point, 25-foot buzzer shot that beat the Celtics in Boston. Philadelphia at Milwaukee, the 76ers leading that best of 7 2-0. And Seattle at San Antonio, that series is tied at 1 game apiece. George Archer, Curtis Strange, one-stroke leaders going into today's second round of the Byron Nelson Golf Classic. They both had 5 under par 65s.
Okay, George, thanks a lot. Darlene and Tom, I want to hear you both sing together. I'm normally on I-65 traveling north from Williamson County, barring any cattle on the highway. And
Cattle on the highway?
Cattle on the highway, if you remember earlier this week. Let's hear Reunited from
I gotta stand over
Tom
here on
Grant
this side,
and
Tom.
Darlene.
I'll get on this side.
I was a fool to ever leave your side. Me minus you was such a lonely ride. That breakup we had has left me lonesome and sad. I realize I love you 'cause I want you back. Hey, hey, hey.
Evening with the radio, regret the moment that I let you go. Our quarrel was such a way of learning so much. I know now that I love you 'cause I need your touch. Hey, hey.
Reunited and it feels so good. Reunited 'cause we understood. There's one perfect fit, and sugar, this one is it. We both are so excited 'cause we're reunited. Hey, hey.
I sat here staring at the same old walls. Came back to life just when I got your call. I wish I could climb right through that telephone line and give you what you want so you would still be mine. Hey, hey.
I can't go cheating, honey. I can't play. I find it very hard to stay away as we reminisce on precious moments like this. I'm glad we're back together 'cause I missed your kiss. Hey, hey, reunited and it feels one perfect fit, and sugar, this one is it. We both are so excited 'cause we're reunited. Hey, hey. This is our little love.
And you're exactly what I'm dreaming of.
Yeah, now all through the day.
And honey, all through the night.
I'll give you all the love I have with all my might. Hey, hey, reunited and it feels so good. Reunited 'cause we understood. There's one perfect fit, and sugar, this one is it. We both are so excited 'cause we're reunited. Hey, hey.
Tom Grant and Darlene Austin, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand. You can do better than that. Come on. The Waking Crew from Nashville, Tennessee at the Opryland Stage Door Lounge. We'll take a break.
Come and fly, the up-and-coming airline. Spread your wings across this big wide country. Spread your wings just like a bird in the air. Piedmont Country is waiting down there.
Piedmont Country. It's mountains and beaches, resorts and theme parks, quiet places, and bright, exciting cities. Piedmont Country is vacation country, and Piedmont has all kinds of special fares that can get you there for less. Super Savers, family fares, senior citizens fares, group, military, and excursion fares, even a special Florida fare for kids. For details, just call Piedmont or call your travel agent and make your vacation budget go a lot farther.
Piedmont Country, we're flying you there.
Hi, I'm Skip.
And I'm PRD, and we're still kind of unpacking boxes here at WSM.
And the Moving On celebration continues.
Now, on Friday, May the 7th, we'll be announcing the winner of a brand new Ford Escort.
You don't mean that's in one of these boxes?
No. That Escort is at Bob Frensley Ford. And all the folks have to do for a chance at driving it home is send their name, address, and phone number to
Moving On, care of WSM, Box 65, Nashville, 37202.
Also qualify for a valuable car care package. Everything from car vacuums to the...
Hey, PRD!
What you got?
Look, it's the Tacky Bell.
The Tacky Bell.
Yes.
Hey, you know what we could do?
No. This isn't our show.
Well, back to your local announcer.
You can register for the WSM Moving On celebration at Bob Frensley Ford, where the grand prize Ford Escort is on display. Bob Frensley gives you the best of both worlds, 7.5% financing and factory rebates up to $2,000. Come to Bob Frensley Ford, home of Super Dealer and the Super Deal. 852.5 at WSM. And now we go over to Mike Donegan and his little world.
Skip, today it's time for the Waking Crew's ever popular Animal Quiz. That's right, the Waking Crew's Animal Quiz. Today, one of our lucky contestants could win a trip to the Falkland Islands in a glass-bottom canoe, a Mexican of your choice, $500,000 a year for life. You must be 89 years old to qualify. A new home in Belmead, and a WSM hangnail. Here's the way the contest works, Skip. I will select a contestant at random from the greater Nashville area telephone directory.
Circa 1962, it looks
Then
like.
I will ask you a series of questions about animals, and if you get them all correct, this person will win all of those aforementioned prizes. I'm now looking through the... Well, I'm not looking. Have my eyes shut to select today's contestant.
So I'm attesting to the fact he has his eyes closed.
Skip, you are playing today for Mr. WAMB Radio. Mr. WAMB Radio could win all those prizes. Question number 1.
Yes.
What animal has stripes all over it? Let me give you some hints. A New York Yankee. B, former Governor Ray Blanton. C, a zebra. You have 2 seconds.
Zebra.
That's correct. Question number 1 is down. Question number 2. In literature, the unicorn was a hideous animal. What animal today looks like a unicorn? Let me give you some hints. A, Telly Savalas. B, a dog wearing headphones. C, a rhinoceros. You have 2 seconds.
A rhinoceros.
That's correct.
I'm on a roll
We're
now.
getting close now. Question number 3.
Oh, I'm nervous.
What animal purrs, looks like a dog, but has bigger whiskers and eats catnip? Let me give you some hints. A, Charro. B, Bob Randall. C, Catman Scruthers. D, a cat. 2 seconds.
Cat?
That's correct. Our final question now for Mr. WAMB Radio. For all those prizes, Skip, answer this. How many hairs are on a dog? I'm sorry.
23.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Tune in again next year. You could win that trip to the Falkland Islands in a class bottom canoe, a Mexican of your choice, $500,000 a year for life, a new home in Belmead, or a WSM hangnail. Some prizes may not be in stock. Hangnails may be substituted.
Mike Donegan, everybody. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
I'm Johnny Rutherford, and I drive the Pennzoil Chaparral. When I go racing, I get the best protection I can. Latest design crash helmet, fireproof clothes, cockpit harness, and even an onboard fire extinguisher. My Indy-winning Pennzoil Chaparral gets the best protection it can, too. Pennzoil, of course. Thousands of race miles and never an oil-related problem. Protection and Pennzoil. Get them together in your car.
Pennzoil Motor Oil. Ask for it.
The 1982 World's Fair opens tomorrow, but tonight you can be there live on Channel 4. Join Dan Miller, Terry Merriman, and Pat Riddle for an exciting live preview of the fair tonight on The Scene at 6. But that's not all. Tomorrow night, it's Ralph Emery visits the World's Fair at 6:30. Then Ben Thomas and The Noon Show will be broadcasting live via satellite on Monday. Plus, Channel 4 will be bringing you live reports throughout the week on The Scene at 6 and 10. The 1982 World's Fair. Be there live tonight on The Scene at 6 on Channel 4.
We're back here at the Waking Crew. Darlene Austin with a final song for us this morning.
I've been gone for so long. Sure is good now to get back home. Back to those familiar faces, smiling right back at me. There's a rainbow in the sky, a certain twinkle in their eyes. They believe in what I am and what I wanna be. Don't it make you wanna dance? Don't it make you wanna smile? When you're down, down, down in the country pig. Don't it make you wanna dance? Don't it make you wanna smile? When you're down, down, down in the country pig and sing a while. Don't it make you wanna dance? Don't it make you wanna smile? When you're down, down, down in the country pig and sing a while. When you're down, down, down in the country. Are we in the country? You pick and sing a while.
Darlene Austin, everybody. Give her a big hand. This has been The Waking Crew, live from the Stage Door Lounge. Songs from Darlene Austin and Tom Graham. Sports from George Plaster. News and commentary, Michael T. Donegan. Band led by Terry Waddell. Prizes from Miss Lou Mew. Engineers Terry Ferris, Chuck Sanford. I'm Skip Woolwine. Bob Randall. Watch what you're doing. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
WSM Nashville.
WSM News at 30 seconds past 9 o'clock. Bob Randall reporting. Senator Howard Baker this morning said the president is right that an effort at compromise on the federal budget failed because of the Democrats' political posturing.
It's not the sound of music.